Welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for clicking on this video. If you have, you're probably planning your trip to Disneyland or are nearing going to Disneyland. So I thought, what better way to help out my YouTube community than to film a little tips and tricks video on everything I've learned from the years of going to Disneyland, and hopefully it can help you and guide you along your fun vacation, because it truly is one of the best places on earth to go to. It's just so magical and unlike any other place. So let's get started with our 7 tips. Number 1 would be to check a crowd estimator. You can find them online. I use isitpacked.com, and they just basically tell you how busy the park is going to be and like on what days you want to go. And let me tell you, there's nothing worse than getting sandwiched between some person in front of you and some weird guy behind you to really ruin your time at Disneyland. It can get real crowded real quick, so using a crowd estimator is my number 1 tip. Number 2, if you're trying to be budget friendly with your Disneyland trip, stay outside of the park. They have tons of different options for whether it's just you and a friend or your partner or a whole family. There's suites that you can stay in that are really reasonable, maybe around like $200 a night. A lot of hotels include breakfast. The suites have kitchens, and a lot of them have pools and things like that. And they have Disney artifacts and stuff within the hotel, so it still feels like you're in that real Disney experience without the price tag of staying at one of the Disney hotels. They have ART, which is a transit system, so you can usually take it from most hotels to Disneyland if, they might be like 15 minutes or so from Disneyland, which is a great option. It's super cheap, like $6 for a 1-day ticket, and like $2.50 for kids, I believe. Number 3 would be if you are a California resident and you're planning on going many times this year, or at least multiple times this year, or you're planning on going 2 or more days, get an annual pass. It's pretty much the same price as buying a 2-day one-park hopper ticket, which is insane. The ticket prices are so crazy, but that's also how they kind of control the crowds and things like that at Disneyland. And also the annual passes give you 10% off on a lot of food in Disneyland and a lot of apparel. So they're pretty good, and they're worth your while, again, if you're gonna go multiple times that year or more than 2 days at once. Number 4 would be if you are living close enough to Disneyland that you can drive there, I highly recommend leaving in the morning, early morning, or leaving in the evening, because let me tell you, there's nothing to ruin your excitement for Disneyland than traffic. In LA traffic, it's known to be bad. It is bad. It can really, for me personally, it can extend my drive time about 2 to 3 hours. And that's like for a normal day. That's not even if there's like an accident or something. So definitely leave early or leave later if it works with your timing, your drive schedule. Number 4 would be to bring a backpack, even if you're just going for 1 day. You can fit your jackets in there if you're not going to go back to the hotel room, because it does get pretty chilly at night in Disneyland. You can fit your water in there, you can fit your snacks, your food. That kind of leads me on to my next point, where you can bring your own food into Disneyland. So definitely check their website for what food you're allowed to, but that can definitely help with your budget and things like that if you don't want to spend a whole lot of money, or if you just don't have a whole lot of money. Also, water is like $4 to $5 a bottle in there, so they have different water filling stations. So bring your Camelback if you just want a big thing, or bring your water bottle so that you don't have to spend that extra money. Number 5 would be to download the app. Disneyland has its own app, and it tells you ride times so that you don't have to walk across the whole park only to find out you don't want to wait an hour for a ride. You can make reservations on there. You can order food on there from their different restaurants. If you get a Max Pass, which is basically, it's $15 a day, and you can do fast passes from your phone. You can do that on there, which is great, because a lot of really popular rides like Cars Land and Star Wars, they all, their fast passes will be gone early in the morning, and so if you don't get there until like a little bit later, you're kind of out of luck. Number 6 is my favorite. Number 6 is food, which I am a huge foodie. I love food. I know everybody does, but I truly do enjoy eating everything when I travel and trying different things and new things. I did find out about 2 years ago that I'm really intolerant to gluten, dairy, eggs, and a few other things. So I can't eat like I used to, but I have tried all the fun things at Disneyland, so I still will give you my favorites from when I could try them before. Number 1 would be at the Mint Julep Bar. When you go first thing in the morning, get their beignets. They're warm, they have powdered sugar, and with a great cup of coffee, they are seriously amazing. You will thank me. If you are gluten or vegan or even vegetarian, Disneyland is really good about accommodating your needs and offering a variety of things and being really easy to talk to if you need to ask questions. And I would highly recommend everywhere you go, just ask questions. I know it can be hard sometimes, but most of the people there are really nice. I didn't really find many options for gluten-free and vegan, but they usually have them separate. But a couple of good places for gluten-free would be the Galactic Grill in Tomorrowland. They do gluten-free buns, and the Pizza Port, they do a gluten-free pizza. They actually also do a vegan pizza because they offer vegan cheese. And a couple of other places would be like in California Adventure. They have their food court there, and they offer a lot of different options for vegan and gluten-free. In downtown Disney, they have Asian street eats, which is really good if you like Asian cuisine, and like a taqueria and a couple other places that you can eat at that have options. Downtown Disney is also a really good place to eat if you are being budget friendly, because they have like walk-up windows that are a little bit cheaper than their actual restaurants, so you can kind of be a little bit more cost effective there. And my favorite dessert of all time is Dole Whip. It is so good. It's vegan, gluten-free. Pretty sure it's just like coconut milk and pineapple juice, but it is to die for. It is so good. It's at the Tiki Bar in Adventureland. They usually have a ginormous line that you have to wait in, and when it's hot, it's really uncomfortable because the sun's beating down on you and all you want is your delicious pineapple-y treat. So use that mobile app and order, and then you can just walk up to their mobile bar and you're out of there. And last but not least, one of my all-time favorites from back in the day is the lobster nachos from Cove Bar. It is now called Lamplight Lounge, but they still have the lobster nachos. You should make reservations if you want to go because it can get really busy, and their drinks are phenomenal. They have really great cocktails, mocktails if you don't drink or if you're underage, and they're pretty strong, so just be careful. Okay, my last tip for you guys is souvenirs, because there is so much to buy at Disneyland, and like literally anything and everything you can think of there is to buy at Disneyland. My number one thing would probably be pins. Now, people go a little crazy with these. You know, I'm not one of those people who wear a whole vest decked out with like tons of pins, but I do have my lanyard, which I got in Disneyland for like $10. You probably can find cheaper lanyards like on Amazon or something like that, but I get a pin almost every time I go, and it's just, especially if you have like kids or I mean, just for anybody, like if you get a pin each time you go, it really reminds you of that time, and it's just something fun to kind of wear into Disneyland and really get you in the zone and in the mood, and it's sentimental and cute. And if you know, like if you have kids, you can get that like one each time you go as they're growing up, and it can just be something sentimental that they keep forever. And they just have like tons of different really cute ones. Oops, that's from the 60th. But that's probably my favorite, and it's pretty cost effective because if you buy the lanyard and then you get one pin each time you go, you know, you're looking at maybe $15, or you know, they have packs of pins and things like that. Also, ears. Disney ears are pretty iconic nowadays. They're pretty expensive now. They're about $30 for a pair of ears, and you know, a few years ago they used to be about $20 to $25, so they're getting pricey. However, the Target down the street from Disneyland, they have a lot of different Disney look-alike things, but they're like a third of the price. So that would be a really good place to go if you're looking for more like cost-effective items, especially if you're in like a large family and can't, you know, really afford to buy 4 children like a pair of ears and lanyards and cups and mugs and ornaments and everything. So that would be all of my tips for Disneyland. I do have a lot more, so maybe I'll make another video, but I wanted to kind of keep this one a little bit shorter. I know I don't really like watching like long vacation tip videos, so Hopefully you found this helpful. If you did, or if you're planning to go, please let me know in the comments below. I love to hear all of your stories and your exciting upcoming trips and all that fun jazz. So again, thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe if you found this helpful, but it's totally fine if you don't. Thank you so much. Have a good day.